And joining us now is Colorado Republican Congressman Ken Buck, who's a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, among other things. First of all, let's talk about Israel and whether you agree with the decision to refreeze the $6 billion, which has been a big Republican talking point, among other things, although no money has been spent. Is that a good move now? And do you agree with what the administration is doing so far?
I think it is a great move, and I think it is also very important what the administration is doing, identifying Iran as the actor behind the scene. Whether they instigated this immediately or whether they were just arming over years, Iran has to be held responsible. Iran is supplying Russia with drones and other equipment that's being used in Ukraine, and I think it's very clear that America needs to tell actors who are supporting evil that they're going to be held accountable.
Let me switch gears and ask you about another big dispute, which is potentially, well, it is holding up any action on aid to Israel or Ukraine or anything else, which is the speaker fight on the Hill right now. It was a stalemate yesterday because there were 99 votes against Scalise, and so nobody was even close to getting the 117 that they need. First of all, how do you see this getting resolved? Anytime soon?
Well, I hope so. Obviously, we want to get back to business and start passing not just aid packages, but appropriations bills to fund government. Steve Scalise is now working through those. I had a nice conversation with him. I know that we keep getting texts that one person or another is coming off the board and supporting him. I wish him the very best of luck in getting that done. If he doesn't get that done, I think by the end of today or sometime tomorrow, he will announce that he is withdrawing his name and we'll go to the next person. I don't expect this to last past the weekend, but
you voted present yesterday, so you're holding your cards. But would Jim Jordan be the next person?
I don't think so. Not necessarily. Jim is not enthusiastically supporting Steve. He said if Steve got to 217, he would support him. So I think it would just be opened up again, and we'll see who the top candidate is.
Who is among those that might be considered? Would you go back to Kevin McCarthy?
I think that Tom Emmer will be considered. I think that Kevin Hern will be considered. Byron Donalds may be interested. There'll be a number of people that will put their name in. I think Steve was the number 2, and out of respect, a lot of people didn't run. I think those people, if he takes his name out of consideration, the field will open up.
What did you think of some of the criticism of Steve Scalise? One member saying that he was potentially too absorbed with his cancer fight, and others saying that they thought he was too connected. I think Nancy Mace said too connected in his past, at least, to David Duke and other white separatists.
I think the statement about his health is cynical and really, I think, unfortunate that someone would raise that. I met with Steve. He was energized. He was very much with it. Gave a great speech in conference. I don't think the fact that someone's going through cancer treatments disqualifies them in any way. In his past, the past was I think he was on a radio show or something that at another time had a white nationalist on it. But clearly, there are a number of African American leaders and others who have stood up for Steve and talked about his fairness.